Hi friends, it's Priscilla here. So today's video is a little bit different. I kind of wanted to make a video and just kind of do like a vlog style and kind of chit chat with you guys and hang out for a little bit. And so that way you guys can get to know my story a little bit more. I've been making some videos here and there of some projects that I've been working on and some fun adventures I've been going on as I travel. But I'm getting a lot of people on Instagram over there and some people here on YouTube and a lot of my friends and family asking me tons of questions, and some people are worried, some people are asking me where I'm at right now. I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. So I kind of want to go over what I decided to do just a couple of months ago and where I'm at and the progress of what I've been doing and my plans for the next few months. That way you guys know what's up. And then there's a little bit more context to my stories and what I've been sharing in the fun little adventure videos and art gigs and all that stuff. So I lived in Bozeman, Montana for the last 2 years. I moved out there from New York City, which is where I was born and raised, Brooklyn all the way, all day. And I kind of moved out there on a whim with one of my best friends. He was my roommate for about 2 years in New York City and Queens. And we decided to move out to Montana. And it was mostly because I worked a seasonal job in 2016 in Wyoming. And I was working near Yellowstone Park, and it was beautiful, and it was a 6-month type of gig, and room and board was paid. I was getting fed 3 times a day, and I was going on hikes all the time in Yellowstone, and it was my first time ever hiking and like being out in nature. That's 2016, y'all. I was like 29 years old. But I started to really see like a different part of America that I haven't seen, and experiencing it and living in it was really different than just going on a vacation. So I was enjoying it a lot. And then I found Bozeman, Montana through that job. And then him and I decided to move out there 8 months after going back to New York City. So a little bit of back and forth there. But in 2017, him and he bought a car. We did an 8-day road trip. That was my first road trip ever. And we went out to Bozeman, Montana, found a house, and it was great. But in those 2 years, I flew back and forth to New York City about 13 or 14 times. Why do you ask? Because I started my art career in New York as soon as I left. And so I figured out a way to be able to enjoy the decision of moving to Bozeman, Montana and living in a different place, because I hadn't done that, and my whole life I was in New York City, and I really wanted to get out and see something else. And so I managed to book enough gigs and kind of line up a bunch of work in New York every now and again and fly back and forth between the two places. So I had a little bit of best of both worlds. I had my city and my art gigs and the freedom that gave me, and then I flew back to Bozeman and I would enjoy my nature and my peace. And Bozeman's a cute like little community. There's lots of bars and coffee shops, and it's a cute scene. There's stuff to do out there too. There's always something going on. It's such a creative, supportive community, and I really love that place. And I found tons of clients there too, and lots of gigs and collaborations. I was a teacher for a high school for a few months, teaching a murals class. Like, I started a lot of new things in Bozeman, and that really helped me open up my world in the world of art, because it's less intimidating to kind of start as an entrepreneur and kind of maneuver around in a small tight-knit community like that. So being in Bozeman really helped me grow and develop as an artist and entrepreneur, and I give Bozeman a ton of credit for really helping me with my baby steps and like maneuvering around that like whole scene of freelancing. And then at the same time, because I flew back and forth, I was in New York City maneuvering around that big old place, finding myself new clients, working with old clients over repeatedly, and whenever they needed something new. Starbucks was one of my clients, New Balance was one of my clients, and then a ton of little shops and bakeries, and Title Boxing Club over at Forest Hills. Love that place. So that's been my life for the last couple of years, and I decided that I wanted to move back to New York City and do my freelance entrepreneur art thing full-time and see what that looked like. Because all this time I've been paying for my flight and expensing it, and like spending a lot of time away from the clients. But I want to be able to be in New York City and build my relationship with those clients and gain more traction and gain more new clients, and just be able to say yes to gigs as they come, as much as I can say yes. I mean, I'm a no person as well. Like, whenever I need to say yes and whenever I need to say no. Not that I was so many miles away, and sometimes new clients people would notice me and, hey, when you're available, and I'd try to work it all. It's just a lot trickier, right? So New York City, I'm coming for you full time. 2020, I'm gonna be on my A game and killing it out there. But I figured that if I would be moving back to my comfort, back to New York City, back to my home, back to what I know, which, by the way, this time when I go back to New York City, it's gonna be a whole new experience. So I say my comfort and what I know and everything, but it's just gonna be a whole new ball game. So still, I figured I really want to take the opportunity, since I'd be in between things and transitioning, that I would take that middle ground opportunity and just plug in this whole big road trip. I decided I would get home the long road. Take the long road home, take the long scenic route. And I really wanted to see the West Coast. I really wanted to see the Southwest. And I hadn't owned a car yet. And I never really thought I would need a car or own a car, or I just couldn't figure out how that would work with my finances and budgeting. And I've got my school loan and, debit, credit card debt and all that good stuff. But I figured out a way, and I was able to find this car on Craigslist, and that's probably the scariest way that I would purchase a car. I really thought that I might go to the dealership and get something new and then finance it and all that stuff, but I was lucky, or not lucky, but things just kind of lined up, because I don't really believe in luck. Things happen for a reason, right? And I was able to find a car that had a lot of miles. It had like 185,000 miles, but I went to the Honda dealership and they tested it out, and I paid $100 to get it looked at by professionals, and I got their opinion, and they were like, it's great, it's wonderful, you should totally buy it. And I also got like a few friends on my block in Bozeman to take a look at the car, feel it out, and let me know like what's up, because I don't know squat about cars. I'm a New Yorker, Like, I get my butt on the train and my bicycle and I get around. But I needed a car now, because I wanted to do a big road trip. I wanted to travel on the road, do the van lifestyle. I figured that I would build a bed into my car. So that's what I ended up doing. I went to the Bozeman Makerspace, and they are wonderful people over there, super helpful. It's a really cool spot. You pay a membership every month. It's pretty low, and you're able to use all the tools that they have. You have access to their space. You also have access to all these knowledgeable people who know how to use all these tools and do all these projects. So if you're a hands-on makers type of person, I highly suggest the Bozeman Makerspace. So I was able to use them, and I just paid 1 month fee, and I brought my car in, and I removed the back seats, and which I made a video of, so you should totally look in the history of my videos. And so I had to remove the back seats because it's 2007 and the seats don't go flat. And then I built a platform bed into the back because I wanted to sleep in the back so I wouldn't have to rely on paying for hotels or finding campground or putting up a tent all the time or Airbnbs, any of that. I wanted to save money, feel safe in a hard-sided thing, and just be able to find somewhere to park and sleep. So, and I also wanted to have the storage room that comes under a platform bed, because some people sleep directly like on the car, but I wanted a platform bed so I can have room to store my things. So that's what I did. And by choice, I hit the road on September 4th of 2019 with my friend Bryant, who is that best friend that I moved from New York City to Bozeman with. And he started the road trip with me for 2 weeks. And we went to Portland, Oregon. We went down the coast to Cali. We saw the redwoods, saw Big Sur, San Francisco. I rode my bike across the Golden Gate Bridge. I rode my bike all over Portland, Oregon. I saw so many things. I saw Los Angeles. I met an old friend from junior high school and high school out there, Carla. The coast was awesome. We did some beach camping out there, which was beautiful. We left the trunk open, and I just put like a mosquito netting, and we went to sleep with the sound of the waves. It was awesome. And then we made our way down to San Diego, which is where I stayed planted for a couple of weeks, and said see you later to Bryant, bon voyage. And he went his way back to Bozeman, and I stayed on the road. I was able to see my friend Sarah and her beautiful family and her parents. They took me in for a little while, and I explored San Diego for quite a bit. I've got my eyes on you, San Diego. You're a beautiful little place. And then I made my way through the desert, and I saw the Salton Sea, and I saw Slab City and the people of Slab City, and that's a cool place. And then I went over and saw Joshua Tree, and I explored that for a bit. Oh my God, I fell in love with the jumbo rocks. That was awesome. I camped in the campground, and that was the first time I ever heard sounds like I heard there. It was like 3 times in the middle of the night. It woke me up the first time. I'm like, what is that? The next couple times I'm like, that's pretty beautiful and awesome. I heard the sounds of coyotes just like in the middle of the night. It sounded like children laughing. It was like kind of creepy and kind of weird, but it was like, whoa. And those Joshua trees, I mean, they are just creepy and beautiful. And then I made my way over to Las Vegas, and I stayed there for a few days, and I drove a race car, and my beautiful friend took me in, and he had so much knowledge on Las Vegas. It was incredible. He gave me a really like awesome tour of the place, and I learned so much. And my friend Christina joined me there, and she's from New York City. She lives up in the Bronx and in Harlem, and her and I decided about a year ago that she would join me on my trip and be part of the road trip and see places with me. So that was pretty cool. And it was like, 2 little Puerto Ricans heading on out and seeing places and being places. So that was really neat. It felt really cool to like travel with a female companion out there. And we were able to see the Southwest together. And let me tell you, Arizona and New Mexico surprised me. Like, I knew that they were going to be beautiful when I started doing some research, but then when I went there, it was like so unexpected. And the Red Rocks and Sedona, and we found this cute little town called Las Cruces in New Mexico. Of course, we saw the Grand Canyon. We ended up seeing Horseshoe Bend, which is a place I found on Instagram, not far from Grand Canyon, and it was like kind of towards Antelope Canyon, which is another spot we went to see. Amazing. But the orange and the red and the cacti and all the shapes and it was just like, wow, stuff I've never seen before. Like, it was, y'all gotta go see it. And then we made our way through New Mexico and down to Texas and got stuck in Big Bend National Park. We weren't able to enjoy that because my car broke down, and we took a tow truck ride that was 102 miles, and we paid $8 for the tow truck ride. Apparently my alternator broke out and I needed a new one. But that's okay, because I got a new one, and the guys over at O'Reilly's over there, they were able to get one of their buddies to come and help us get installed into the car, and it was like 7:30 p.m. It was pretty late, like, and this guy showed up in 5 minutes, and by midnight he had it done. And we slept in a hotel that night because we were tired, and it was quite the day. But thank God for AAA and my good friend Janice, like, hooking me up. That really saved me out there. I knew, like, there's a chance that the car might break down. I had no idea what that was gonna look like, but you know, and it could have easily been a very stressful thing. It could have easily been kind of a scary thing. It could have easily happened to me, like, when I'm by myself. It could have happened in a quiet little town that I'm like, hey. But it happened in a national park where people are kind of driving around, and I'm not sketched out because they're just camping and enjoying themselves and having a good time. Everybody was so helpful, and the rangers kept checking on us and making sure we were good. We were able to get cell phone reception, like, only that much, but enough to call AAA. And then the tow truck took us to this other small town where everybody was, like, so helpful and so awesome and able to, like, help us out. And we just hung out with these guys. I got them some beers. Like, we had a good time. And I was so surprised how many people stopped and like, hey, are you guys good? Like, do you need any tools? Like, do you need anything? So it all just turned out to be, like, a really cool story. And anyways, after that, we drove up into Austin, and we enjoyed, like, some beautiful sights up there. And it had been cold the last, like, few days because of the high desert and everything. But going to Austin, we finally had, like, a nice beautiful 80 to 90 degree day where we were able to enjoy the waters and sit poolside in our friend's place, Alexandria, and she took us in for a little bit. And so that was really awesome. And then at that point, I flew up to New York City for a month, and I spent the most of the month of October out in New York City, which was pretty cool because Halloween out there is, like, super awesome, and I had a ton of fun. But most of all, I flew out there because I needed to work. I hadn't worked in 6 weeks. I was so busy, like, on the road, and I wasn't able to, like, do my hustle and really try to get new clients. And every time we were in a city or somewhere, it was only for a few days, so I didn't have enough time, or I didn't find enough time to kind of do that thing. So I knew in New York City I really had to push myself, hustle, pick up as much work as I could, and that's what I did. So for 1 month, I worked super hard, and I got sick for 2 weeks, which was really bad. One of those, an entire week, just bed rest, because it was bad. The nurse said I must have had, like, pneumonia or bronchitis. But I got my medicine, and I got it taken care of. So that was great. So anyway, now I'm out here in Houston, Texas, and I've been out here for about a week and a half, and I'm going to spend time in Texas, in Houston, until, like, right after Thanksgiving. I have family here, my cousins, my aunt, lots of family. There's 3 little girls. They're so sweet. I made a little video making an apple pie with them and kind of teaching them pie from scratch, which was really cool. One of them has a birthday tomorrow, so that's going to be really neat. So I'm going to spend time with my family out here. And then at that point, then I'll head on over to New Orleans, where I've got another friend waiting for me. And I'm going to check out New Orleans for about a week, and then head my butt over to Tampa, near Tampa, this cute little city out there, about an hour away from Tampa. And I'm going to see my family, like my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. My brother has 3 little kids, and so we are going to spend a few months together. I am going to spend some good quality time out in Florida and kind of get through the winter out there with the palm trees and the beaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the first year in my life that I am not going to experience winter. And I think I deserve that because I grew up in winter, New York City winter, and I worked at the farmer's market, standing outside 8 hours a day, 3 days a week or so, for like about the last 3 years, even 4 years, living in New York City. And then I went and moved to Montana. Montana is 9 months of winter pretty much, and they just get dumped on and dumped on and dumped on. Like, they get tons of snow. So yeah, it's gonna be really nice to, like, not have winter. Of course, if I do line up some more work in New York City at any point, I am going to figure out a way to make it out there as well. And so that's what's been going on. Life on the road teaches you to not be so attached and to kind of let go and be free and just trust in yourself, trust in the journey, you know, trust in people, trust in community. And it's been a pretty cool couple of months, I'll say that. So thank you all for following along on this journey and for making it to the end of this video. There's been a lot of chit chat. I feel like there's pieces of the story that I've missed. And maybe, I don't know, there's some stuff you guys have questions about. So feel free to leave any questions in the comments below. I do want to make videos about my build for the CRV so you guys can see like the process and like what I ended up doing. There's enough room for 2 people back there, which is pretty cool. And I also did a thing so that I can convert it to just be a bed for 1. So if I feel like stretching out, I have a bed for 2 for me. Or if I just have more things and I can always just fold it and it can be a bed for 1. So I do want to make build videos. I do have a lot of content for the whole West Coast. So I want to make some videos on like really cool things to see in the West Coast and then really cool things to see in the Southwest. Because I really found a lot of cool spots like in between places that I definitely wanted to go see. So it's like other things that you shouldn't miss, that they're on the way from point A to point B kind of a thing. So I'm gonna make videos about that. But yeah, feel free to ask me anything. If you have any personal questions about me, or the car build, or my journey, or my future goals, or whatever, finances. I think I want to make video on that, like budgeting for living on the road. Some people have asked me about that and they're like, did you just save a shit ton of money and get on the road? I'm like, not really, kind of, maybe not shit ton, but maybe, you know, you gotta have a little bit of a cushion because, you know, don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow or like next month or whatever. So there's that. But ask away, and thank you for being here, and this has been amazing, and bye. See you guys on the next one. But yeah, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the bell button so you don't miss these future videos coming on up. So good to talk to you guys and let y'all get to know me a little bit more.